Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm fired up. Again, I did not sleep last night. How crazy is this? I was up last night. My husband got home at like midnight because he was out there serving and making a difference in the world. And I'm sitting there up and my wheels are turning and turning and turning. You see, this is what happens when you are on fire. Not when you are on stress, but when you're actually on fire. I'm trying to move my seat here. When you're actually on fire working on something that you're super fired up about. So I want to talk to you about email marketing today, and I want to talk to you about strategy this morning. So good morning. As you're coming on, say good morning. I would love you guys to share some of your number one challenges that you're having that you want me to share on Coffee with Shanda, because I will grab content from the thread, because I definitely want to continue to do like business training and things like that, as well as life training and mindset training. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Catherine. Good morning, Wendy McKenna. I look forward to seeing you and your amazing husband sometime soon. We should definitely get together, or at least plan like some sort of a beach walk or something fun to do together. Hi, Susan. Hi, Alex Ariaga. Alex, I have your message right here. I'm going to listen to it very soon, right after my coffee with Shanda. So I want to chat with you guys about this. So first and foremost, I read like crazy. I'm not the fastest reader on the planet. I don't like go through like 12 books a month like some of you crazy, amazing readers do. And I've honestly never been the most talented person, but I have really, really done everything I can to increase my personal development so I complete what I start. And one of the things that I'm really thankful for that I stuck to was building my audience and building my email list. And if you're a client of mine, you've heard me talk about this till the cows come home. But sometimes you just need to hear maybe it from a different angle. So know that if you have an email list, you can make money right now. You can make money right now. And it's funny because I'm going to go get my hair done today. My hairdresser has built an email list, but I don't know how often she emails that list. Now, don't get me wrong. She's now picked up a side business, and now she's training other hairdressers how to set goals and run a really good hair business. She's a very popular hairstylist. In fact, tons of my clients go to her because of the fact of she's just very talented. But it took marketing and sales for her to be able to grow a business. So she was always pretty good at sales, but I think that she lacked a little bit on her marketing. Now what's happening is her referrals are starting to come in, but I don't know how often she's actually emailing her list. Now I can talk about that with some of my clients as well. You build an email list, whether it's small or big, and then you hit a wall. Like for instance, maybe you're emailing people and they're not buying, they're not clicking to buy, or they're not like, messaging to talk to you and sign up. They're not exactly like running through the computer or the phone to say, I want what you have, right? And that's because you have a messaging problem. Duh, you probably already know that. But are you working obsessively on that daily? Like daily? Like, are you daily, like just putting all of the things that are distracting you in a day out of your way and just going, okay, like, where do I have to be more vulnerable? Like somebody messaged me, hi, Jody. Somebody messaged me the other day and said, I actually owe this person a response on my inbox. So if you're listening, no, I will respond. But they messaged me and said, my email list is not listening to me right now. They're like crickets. And I said, well, where do you have to get more vulnerable? Right? Where do you have to get more vulnerable? Like for instance, and I know that often we think we're vulnerable, but I've got a couple people who won't do my personal development training, who I know if they do it because they're already rock stars, they'll scale into 7 figures. Like they're already rock stars. Like they're not deadbeats. They're not people who are ignoring the training. They are complete winners, right? But they won't do the training because they don't want anybody in their community to see their stuff. Now, here's what I want you to, I'm not calling them out. You don't know who they are. If you're watching and this is you, don't flip out, because I know you got a trigger around this, but nobody knows who you are. What you have to understand is that's the best marketing on the planet. And when you're still afraid to share parts of you, that means you're hiding something. And when you're hiding something, it makes you a less than bright leader, right? People will say you're pushy, or people will say they'll just make up all different reasons why they won't hire you. Your sales will be more challenging than you think, and that's like the best place to get traction with people. Like when you go through a hard time with someone, like great relationships know this. When you go through a hard time with someone, whether it's a good friend of yours, or I was watching Richard Branson talk to my friend Joe DeSena on one of his podcasts the other day. And Joe DeSena actually has a falling out with somebody right now, somebody very close to him. And I know this because I'm friends with him. Well, Richard Branson was giving him advice, and you could see Joe having like a light bulb moment, right? And Branson, he asked him, like, what's your biggest advice for like entrepreneurs and successful people who really want to like take it to the next level? Is it being more fit or whatever that is? And Branson said, I 100% think you must be fit to hit your full potential. Like every day he's got a couple, like not one, but two workout sessions that take up his endurance. He's like, I really believe you absolutely have to be fit to be at your full potential. The other thing he said is you absolutely have to not hold grudges. You have to repair relationships. And even if you're wrong, you have to still walk into them and clean up those relationships, right? Something every great leader knows, but not every great possible leader does, right? Like, meaning that if you're holding on to something that you're still not going and cleaning up, but then you have this big lofty goal, you have to remember that this big lofty goal is really hard to get to, or it's not big enough. If you can still reach your goals, like which is a little bit of effort. Some of you guys think you make a lot of effort to reach those goals, but you don't. A little bit of effort. That maybe that goal isn't big enough, because that goal should scare the shit out of you. Not only should it scare the shit out of you, it should be so big that it's really fucking hard to get to. And that's how you know that you're actually living on your edge, right? It's really hard to get to that goal. And I think far too often we're trying to make our life so comfortable that the goals, like we do a little bit of work. Like remember Jason, who I interviewed yesterday, Jason McDougall, the owner of Fields? When we got off our video, I was talking to him. I said, I teach my clients how to build email lists and how to sell to them. And if they never want to leave their house again, or they want to travel all around the world and do business on the road, all of them can do it. But some of them are complaining because they don't want to talk to people on the phone, or they don't want to cut videos, or they think it's hard. And he actually started to laugh. Like, and if you watch the video, you know that that's kind of cute, because he's kind of like, I don't know, he's kind of socially adorably cute and awkward. You know what I mean? Like, and so, like what he did was hard. Like, anyway, I'm not going to rant about this, but just watch your mindset on this. I will rant about this. I wrote a newsletter that's going to go out to my email list, because I saw one of my clients who actually is doing pretty well in her business, doing this whole rant on video about the fact that we didn't get into business to not enjoy our life. And she was promoting people to enjoy their life. And I love that message. My brand identity is actually enjoy life now. Like not later, but enjoy life now. So I actually believe in that comment, and I believe in that positioning. However, the part about like don't kill yourself to grow your business is really fucked up positioning, because I think that people think they're entrepreneurs, and they probably are, but they actually just want another job, and they just don't want to work for anybody else. They don't really have the calling to make the huge impact, to really, really serve people. Like Like really serving people means that you have to get so uncomfortable in your vulnerability, in your email marketing, in your videos. You got to share the things. You're willing to go into a leadership training, even though all your peers are there, and let it all go. You're not saying something like, well, there's another one. There's not just one road to get to the same result. Well, no shit, Sherlock Holmes. But I'm telling you, this is the best leadership program on the fucking planet. Go do it. And you're still fighting it because you're afraid. Right? Like that mindset translates into your business, right? When actually complete sharing your shit will actually be the closest thing that will bond you to your peers, which is so powerful because your network is your net worth. But it will also bond you with your audience. So, if you make a mistake in your business, or you make a mistake in your email marketing, or my friend James Twyman made a mistake where he embellished on something he wrote in his book. He's a Hay House author, and I remember a few years ago he was telling me how it was longer than a few years ago. I lived in Vegas, but he was saying, I embellished on this piece in my book where I was talking about these mystics, and I just really embellished it because he's such a storyteller. And somebody called him out on the embellishment that he basically lied. And he was totally humiliated. And it became viral, right? And he actually wrote this email and apologized to his readers and his email list. And he vulnerably said, there was obviously something in me that felt like I needed more attention, or this wasn't good enough, or I wasn't good enough. And so I lied about it. And here's what really happened. And I'm sorry. Do you know that his audience went freaking crazy? I mean, they fell so in love with him. The connectivity of honesty, the connectivity of saying, I'm sorry, the connectivity of like being honest about where you're not perfect is so powerful, and connection is currency. So know that that's a critical piece, right? So here's what started this whole conversation in the first place. I was studying one of my peers last night, actually yesterday. I finished all zone content. So the zone event is done. Easiest content that's ever come out of me for this event. I'm so fired up. And it's done. And so I had all this space yesterday because I really just focus on 1 to 3 things a day that I'm focusing on. And I only had one yesterday. So I had all this space yesterday to just do whatever I wanted, right? And so the power of an entrepreneur is you're not tied to hours worked. That's an employee mindset. A entrepreneur mindset is a results driven, which means that you don't feel guilty if you get the thing done and just use the rest of your day to party. Right? And so that's what I did. And my party was actually studying a peer of mine who was teaching about list building. And I loved it because he was saying that, number 1, you need traffic. Number 2, you need a registration page to collect the data. Number 3, you need like something like MailChimp or Aweber or an Infusionsoft to collect the data, collect the email names. And number 4, he said, you need lots of money. And I agree with him. Now, that's not how I teach it. I teach influencer list builds. So it's like a really heavy word of mouth campaign so that your list is really hot. Because I find that the struggle that people have to figure out in their messaging and their consistency, and just becoming a finisher, which is why I'm doing the leadership program in January, is just a brutal road for people to walk. And so I like a hot list and an influence list, a referral list, to first work with my clients because I find that they get off the ground quicker, right? And it's all relative to their mindset. However, I agree with him 100% that lots of money is a really awesome piece because he was showing, if you could send 1,000 leads, let me do some math for you. And he's telling truth, right? But people don't want to listen to truth because truth is painful and scary. So he said, if you send 1,000 leads a day at $5 a lead, that would cost you $5,000 a day. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, no, I'm actually not ranting on him because he's fucking brilliant. But the $5,000 a day, I don't know about you, but do you have that to front? Like I do, but do you? right? So $5,000 a day. This is considering your leads are going to cost $5 because right now we have some leads costing more than $5 and we have some costing less. So $5 and you've got 1,000 visitors a day. And if you got a 30%, your registration page is converting at 30%, that means you get 300 new email subscribers a day. Now, I'm just going to look at his numbers for a second because I thought this was brilliant. Okay, so, did I put it down? Okay, so basically, yes. So basically he said, if you added 20, I'm going to skip through this a little bit, but just hear me out here. If you did that strategy, you would spend, you would spend $35,000 a week. But he showed a real campaign where he spent basically $25,000 a week in 7 days. His opt-in page was converting. He brought in 2,700 new people to his email list a week. He got 760 new customers a week, and 17% of them took a $297 upsell, which made him $38,000 a week, which means he made a profit of just over $13,000 a week. Now, honest to God, so that's about $85,000 a month. Now, honest to God, I could show anybody how to do this on here. But what I can't do is get you to spend the first $5,000 a day. You know why? Because I still can't get people to do the leadership program that I tell them will get them out of their way because they'll stop at money. I still can't get people to send out emails when they have a hot email list that is waiting for them to sell to them because they're afraid of being vulnerable and sharing the things about them that are imperfect, or they're afraid of being imperfect with their marketing. So they stall and procrastinate and wait to get the perfect email to go out. And so they either are erring on the side of afraid to be wronged, imperfect, or not good enough, and that prevents them from moving forward. Or they're in the conversation of when they are proven, when they are rejected and don't get the results that they want, they pull right back and start going on to another strategy that they feel is maybe easier, and then they hit the same wall again, typically, right? And so, this is why I think leadership is so important. This is why I'm pushing a leadership program so hard right now, mainly for my rock stars or anybody who really wants to get out of their own way. Because if you're not ambitious, I don't want to work with you. And I just got to be straight up about this because I think that the time of mentors chasing people to be successful are coming to an end. And here's why. There's so many of us getting so good at what we're doing and making so much money these days because of the internet. The internet is like a license to print money. But the problem is all this gunk that holds people back. And I'm really interested in finding people with high ambition that is willing to let go of the gunk so that we can take them higher, right? And there is a difference between being an entrepreneur who just wants a job, and there is nothing wrong with that. I can show you how to do that all day long in my Pace Club, very, very easy. However, I want to take you past Pace Club into Marketing Mastery. It's about really having you skyrocket. And that community is a no-leave community, which means that if you join it, you can't leave and come back because we're only interested in committed entrepreneurs that want to create something that makes an impact on the world. So I share this with you because everywhere I turn, I see my influencer friends all have big email lists. And it's the piece that skyrockets all of us. It doesn't matter what we're teaching. You guys, I have friends dominating YouTube right now, and they're growing on YouTube. How do you think they're pushing their traffic? Their email lists. That's how they're pushing their traffic up, right? They're launching a podcast. How do you think they're getting their podcasts to rock? They're using their email lists, right? That's how they're becoming like #1 podcast, bestsellers, overnight or in 48 hours or in a week. They're using their email list, you guys. Like, you got to wake up and realize that business is not challenging. It's not. It takes mental toughness, but the actual essence of growing a business and making a ton of money, you just need a lot of buyers. And the easiest way to do that is your email list. Hello, our social platforms. My Facebook page has, I think, 130,000 people, I think, right now on my Facebook page. How do you think I grew that? My email list. I mean, for months, I would write a blog and I'd just simply put, P.S. If we're not connected on Facebook yet, let's do that now. Here's the link to my Facebook page. Go follow it. I had that on like every email for a super long time, right? And so that bumped my social media. I did the same thing with my Instagram. Now I use additional strategies to grow my Instagram. But how do you think I bumped it? My email list. So the single most important thing for you to ever focus on in your business, if you want to make money and continue to make more and more and more and more and more of it, is build your buyers list. In the description, I actually put a training. It's called trainmeforfree.com/now. If you need that, go watch it. It's evergreen, which means that I'm not training it live. Your discipline will be having to leave the junk behind to be able to sit through it and watch it. I think it's about 45 minutes. Maybe it's an hour. But watch it. Like, turn everything off. I know it's hard. I mean, I sat through a web training for 90 minutes yesterday, and I just turned everything up, and I grabbed my little pad, and I wrote. I just wrote. And I just took notes. And I asked a lot of questions in the chat if I could, right? And so it keeps you engaged. Even though it was completely automated, I did everything I could strategically to keep myself engaged. So I'll leave it on that. Make sure you're focusing on the right thing. Make sure you're leaving the gunk behind, because that's the only thing that gets in the way of you succeeding. You don't need another effing business strategy to grow your business. Go grow your list. Go watch the training in the description area of this Facebook Live and learn how to build an email list. If you're a client of mine, just focus on continuing to build that list and then reaching out to it and getting good at being vulnerable as you reach out to it. In other words, stop worrying about making a fucking mistake and just contact them, and keep contacting them until they listen to you, which means keep changing your positioning so that you're getting less markety and more real, and they'll start to listen to you. Share the areas that you have breakdown and how you got through them. Inspire people up so that they want to buy with you instead of pushing them down and condemning them or talking down to them, which will just get you loser clients anyway, right? So inspire people up. Start talking about ambition, start really rising the level of standard in your marketing, and you're going to find that you're going to get incredible people to work with. So the more I talk about ambitious people, the more I really highlight that, the more of that tribe comes forward, sends me messages in my inbox and says, hey, I would like to work with you. I really think that you can make a difference. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to follow 100% of your coaching. And that's because they can hear me. They know that I'm the right coach for them. The people who say, I just want to create an automated business that I never touch again, and I never want to give to it, and I just want to make money like a cash machine, and I never ever want to talk to those freaking people ever again, and I just want to sit in my house and do nothing for all of that money, you are not my client. You are very ambitious, and that model does not exist. Even if you think it does with Marie Forleo or any of these people, they work their fucking asses off all the time. All the time. Okay? And that's what it takes to be at the top. And it's a compelling pull forward. And that's ambition. And sometimes you just have to let yourself dream enough, or you need to drop enough of that junk in leadership programs and things like that so that you just fucking don't have that shit anymore, so that you can open up and you can just allow that compelling purpose to pull you forward. So I'll stop on this. If you're still complaining about how hard your business is, you actually haven't found your purpose yet, or you have not allowed it to take you over. You haven't, like my stylist, Carla Perea, who is on the thread right now, she messages me regularly on working hours and hours, like 10 hours at a mall, shopping with a client, right? And dressing them and styling them. And she's like fired up about it. Meanwhile, she's like breastfeeding off one tit while she's picking shirts with, for somebody to wear. I don't mean to be crass, but I'm trying to get you to hear it. I don't want you to miss it. Like so many moms are saying, I can't work because I have to breastfeed, or this is hard. I can't write an email at home because I'm so exhausted because I've got 4 kids at home. It's like, come on, you guys. Like you're not allowing your purpose to take you over. The real fulfillment in life is giving. And if you're still complaining about the work, you haven't let yourself give enough yet. All right. I'll see you on Monday with Coffee with Shanda. Next week, I have one of my all-time mentors coming on next week. We'll announce that next week, so you'll have to tune in on Monday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And have a really extraordinary weekend. I'll talk to you soon.